Holy minion labor unions! This is Flight Check Season 4, Championship Episode 21! We're back!
You're so excited you had to put that title screen back up.
LCS Champions for the first time,
yes,
talking all aspects of FlyQuest LCS League of Legends. My name, as always, is Sandy Toes to my left and my extra left. My fellow long-suffering hosts, Noxwar and Curly Double Q. Gentlemen, long have we waited, and FlyQuest, the demons have abated.
The suffering has ended.
The suffering is over. And
good vibe fall has entered.
And yes, it is indeed FlyQuest fall. After all,
FlyQuest
LCS
summer,
Champions.
baby.
It's here. This is the Championship Parade episode. You know, I know esports and traditional sports normally do not mix, but the Championship Parade usually takes place a day or two after the after the championship win is clinched. So here we are. It's Sunday night in America. 9:40 on the East Coast. Knox clocking in at a nice 7:40, I believe, or 8:40?
Yeah, 8:40.
8:40? All right.
6:40 on the West Coast. Wherever you're tuning in from, this is the
Honestly,
place to
prime
be
time.
to celebrate the FlyQuest LCS Championship Summer 2024 Champions. We're here to talk about it. We're here to celebrate. We're here to discuss.
It's been 6 years in the making, baby.
6 years in the making, and 4 seasons of Flight Check in the making. So
4 seasons of Flight Check. Wow.
We've been doing this for 4 years. That's crazy.
Wow.
Woo, we're coming up on
That is insane.
four full years of this show. And finally, in Season 4, the faithful are rewarded. And we finally get that LCS Championship. And
Well, fellas,
it feels good.
It does feel. It really
feels amazing.
And
it still doesn't feel real.
And I don't know about you guys. I don't know about you. I feel very vindicated. I feel very, very vindicated. And I'm not I'm not saying that, you know, the entire community was just raging against FlyQuest this entire season. That I'm not saying that the entire community hated our team and were preying on our downfall. But what I am saying
we can make a montage of a bunch of different clips
is that we proved them all wrong. And we are indeed your 2024 Summer Split LCS champions. Bwipo-inspired Quad, Masu, Busio, coaches Nuke Duck and Mithy. Rocco, I'm sure, coming in from the NACL afterwards. I know he was on stage. Park Mom, our social media friend.
He's also, in my eyes, he's kind of like the cheerleader of FlyQuest.
The
like
cheerleader of FlyQuest. DeMonte, performance coach. Always there, rooting the boys on. Papa Smithy, Chief Gaming Officer, as I believe is his title for FlyQuest.
And President.
And President. What an incredible run for this team. And Nox, I'm going to turn to you first as probably among the three of us, I think you are technically the longest standing FlyQuest fan on this show. So I'm going to...
technically, yeah.
I am going to ask you, how good does this feel for you right now?
It has been such a long time coming, man. Like, because and just a quick recap for anyone who's new here, who's tuning in for the celebration episode. I've been a fan of this team since spring 2019. The good old Santorin, Wild Turtle, JJ, Flame, Pobelter roster. Like that's when I first started following this team, man. So for me, it's been 5 years. 6 years in the making for the org, obviously, but it's been 5 years of me following this team, and it feels great to finally have the payoff. Especially when it comes off of a massive throw in Game 4, and we went off some Winions to give me a heart attack at the last moment. But whatever. I'll take it, man. I'm just the absolute elation I had seeing because no one knew.
Yeah.
Like what? Yeah. Like not even our own comms. Like there was comms that I think Andrew Barton shared later on of like all the guys in comms that were talking about draft for Game 5, and then Quad was the one going, "Oh, bot," and everyone was just confused, and I was confused just to suddenly see the sudden camera shift, and it was just a heart attack, man. I'm running out of words to properly describe all the feelings that I had in the moment.
It was truly an incredible moment. One of the craziest endings to an LCS finals, to maybe a best of 5.
I think, period. Worldwide, historically, I don't think I have ever seen, because obviously there's been matches when Winions have won you the game.
Right.
I don't think I have ever seen a period in a grand final, let alone being the game winning or series winning game. Like, that is crazy.
Yeah, I've seen plenty of base races. I've seen plenty of Winions coming in, but I don't know if I can recall off the top of my head to win like an actual championship, something like this occurring. So
I think the closest I can think of is 2013, like a Zubu Frost versus a Zubu Blaze. I want to say it was like Game 3 or Game 4.
Jeez,
like there was that is like the closest thing I can think of.
My goodness.
And maybe Papa Smithy can fact check me on that one. But there was a crazy game back in 2013 that I think may have been series ending that was somewhat close to the standard.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think this has happened otherwise anywhere else. Period.
Yeah,
so what a way to get a World Championship, man. It will always be one of the most memorable moments in LCS history.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Curly, I'll turn to you next.
Yes, sir.
How are you feeling? What's the emotion? What were the emotions like near the end of that Game 4? And how are you feeling now that things have gone so differently?
So the emotions were crazy, right? Because yesterday I was at an engagement party all day. And so like I was only like catching like little bits here and there when I logged into the Riot app on my phone and checked it. And so I watched us like for the last 5-10 minutes of Game 1. I watched us when I was like, all right, let's go. Great start. I didn't catch Game 2. I heard that was like, I saw it wasn't a win for us. I was like, all right, it's fine. Caught a little bit of Game 3 and I was like, all right, awesome. And then like Game 4, we're like into it. And like I need to give you the timeline, right? Because the cocktail hour was from like 5 o'clock to like 7:30,
I'm here for this.
And so I'm going about, I have a couple gin and tonics, and all that stuff. I'm talking to my family. I'm having food, all that stuff. We're sitting in the lobby, and then I'm like keeping tabs on my phone every once in a while. And then we're in Game 4. And it's like partway through. And so this is like 7 to 7:30 is when it's happening. And then I like just, I apologize to my parents. I'm like, hey, I gotta like just it's Game 4, like we're a couple minutes and I really gotta look at this. Yeah, we've got like some time, and so I'm just looking, I'm watching on my phone. And at the time we weren't winning, and I was like, oh man. And then we like pull off some good Baron plays, and we just like make key little things, and I'm like, all right, we're getting traction. And so then it's like 5-10 minutes before the reception, which was at 7:30. And so like they open the doors to let everyone into there. And I tell my family, I was like, hey, I'm just going to be in a second. All right. And they're like, it's fine. I'm like, cool. And so I'm watching and I'm like, we make that push and we are like at their nexus. But then we like don't make it. Like we get killed and it's like, oh shit. All right. We can't. Like, we just got to play safe, got to find that other opportunity. And then we, like, Busio dies in the mid lane. Like, before that last 60 seconds. Busio gets caught out. Busio dies before anyone else, and then we slowly get the rest of the team picked off. But then you have, Masu. Masu's going up, sneaking through the jungle. I'm like, no way. Is he crazy? Is he going to backdoor it? And then he had to pull back. And then we get ace. I'm like, shit. And so my heart is racing because I'm, like, going to be the last person into the reception because I'm watching this. And then it's, like, a very tense moment, and this could be the thing that I have been waiting for forever. And so I'm watching it slowly go away. And then I see, like, the minion thing, because I'm watching on this screen, so I don't have full detail. So I'm just, like, heart's racing. I'm tense. I'm like, shit, what are we going to do in Game 5? And then, like, I see Busio come. I'm like, all right, what's he going to do? Like, can he 1v5 them long enough to get everyone up? Because I'm looking at the death timers. I see Whipple. I'm like, if we get it, Whipple can TP in there. And then I see, like, the minions. And then I'm like, oh, no, it's not going to go in time. And then I see the pan. And I'm like, what just happened. Like, I didn't process that we had won until they had switched to stage, and I saw everything green, and I was like, what? Because I thought we had lost, because in the moment, like, my processing wasn't, like, every time I've watched a clip since, I'm like, oh, we clearly won. But in the time, I just see, you know, them zooming out and the Nexus exploding. I'm like, oh, shit, we just lost, you know, because it's that much of a difference. And so it didn't hit me, and I was absolutely elated, and I just rode that, and I'm still riding that today and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, I went out and celebrated after that. Like, I hit up the open bar a little bit more, and then I went out. It was great. You know, it was just a good time.
It's a good way to cash in the celebration, right?
Perfect.
The DJ. Fun fact: if you apparently song that goes real well together. This is a complete tangent. Is "Staying Alive" and yeah with Usher and Lil Jon. Like, the beats line up really well. And it's so good. Like, this DJ killed it. So, like,
nice,
amazing. Yeah, top tier. And speaking of celebration, guys, I think this is very appropriate for the championship celebration.
Oh,
do you guys mind? Do you guys mind if I do this now?
No,
I think that's as good a time as any. So yeah, like, luckily, perks of being a bartender is I know exactly how to do all of this.
We did you at the FlyQuest facility yesterday to properly show how to do a bottle pop, though. I'm not gonna lie, some of those guys looked like they were struggling a little bit. So
it was.
We're gonna need someone to clip this champagne pop once it comes through.
Oh goodness! All right, before I even think about it, I'm gonna need to get the angle.
Curly. All right, here we go.
All right.
Can we full screen Curly on this real quick before we do?
No, we don't need to full screen.
No? All right.
You just twist a little bit.
All right, bring it in. This is how we do it.
Yeah, you twist a little bit.
Yeah, aim it right at your camera.
Yeah. I want give the camera pop.
I'm not gonna do a camera pop, and then you want to just get your thumbs right beneath it, and then you.
Hey! I heard that pop. Oh, there it goes. Oh.
There we go.
And he's taking care of things.
Now, normally you don't do that. I was distracted with the pop. What you actually want to do is you want to immediately cover it with your thumb so it doesn't do that. But this one is going to be mine. And since you guys can't be here, I'm gonna, I've got flutes set out for you, and I will be giving one to my roommate after the show because
I was just gonna let you know when I wanted to take a sip, and then you could take.
We'll just tell you. Yeah, you can take sips for us. Just like, hey, Curly, sip. Curly, sip.
Yeah, all right.
If you want Curly to take a sip of champagne, please type Curly sip in the chat, and we
just
will make
type
sure that
wide whippo. Wide whippo
or Curly sip. Either will suffice if you want Curly to sip at any point in time.
Isn't that one of our emotes actually?
I think we have a
Curly sip. Curly sip is.
Oh, we have Curly sip. Yeah.
Oh no, you have Curly piece is what you have.
Now grab all three glasses.
Oh,
and
we have Nox sip. We have Nox sip.
Nox sip. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I've got 3 arms, but this is, this is Sandy and me, bam, and then me and Nox, bam.
All right, we're all cheers.
And then now Sandy and Nox, bam.
Excellent.
Everyone's all cheered.
We'll do a proper celebration the next time the 3 of us get together.
Curly, drink the whole bottle, Nate. You madman.
Yeah,
oh Lord.
Yeah, what an incredible ending to that series. I mean, I was because I saw the minions crashing, and I was like, there's no way. I thought that Team Liquid was going to be able to end before the minions took the Nexus. Also, much like everyone else on Reddit and Twitter yesterday, I assumed they were going to just send one person back. To
literally just send Korvac or Umti, one of the two.
Just anyone who's gonna draw the attention away of the minions from the Nexus, and
they simply did not.
From what I understand, the game of inches that was this quote unquote base race at the end. From my understanding, it was the final caster minion auto that took down the Nexus. And that final auto, the minions would have stopped attacking the Nexus because the next Team Liquid wave was starting to spawn. So the minions were starting to fight each other. So it was literally the final possible caster auto that took care of the Nexus for us.
That is insane.
So you have one less minion auto, or you have literally one Team Liquid member go back and take care of business back at the base. And I'll be honest, I don't know how you guys feel about this. I'm not sure we would have won that game 5. Because this team, very good, definitely won the championship. Like, 100% deserved it, won it 3-1, no bones about it. But that kind of throw, because it was a throw in Game 4. We had the lead. We had a huge gold lead. We had control a long part of the way. That momentum shift, I think, could have done.
It's rough to come back from. It's rough to come back from.
Papa Smithy saying that we would have gotten blue side. That's very fair. But we did win. I think we won at least 2 of our games. 2 of our wins were on red side, I believe. Game 1 and Game 4 were both red side wins. And then TL won Game 2 on blue side. And then I think we won Game 3 on blue side, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, correct.
So, it was a 50% win rate, all the way through on blue and red side. And I do agree that blue side is probably slightly favored right now. But, yeah, I don't know. That's the crazy thing, is we will never know. And thankfully, we never have to find out.
Here's the thing. In my heart, I think we would have won that Game 5 no matter what. I have faith in this team because, even that game started with us on the back foot, and we threw from a comeback for that little bit. So we clearly had the mental resilience.
Well, and I think this is actually a good opportunity for us to kind of get into the actual matchup itself. I think I don't know how you guys feel about this, but the drafts were absolutely fascinating to me all the way through. And I think there's actually a large amount to talk about here because we kind of went all over the place with these games. We started out with, the Ashe Leona. Also, by the way, the Leona for Busio really coming out clutch once again. Quad starts out the series playing Yone, which I need to go and look. I gotta pull up Games of Legends. Was that his first Yone game of the season? I don't recall
seeing him do it.
Hold on.
Look. Let's find out. I am not seeing any Yone in the summer split. That was his first Yone game. At least for summer.
that was. Yeah, that was his first Yone game, at least since.
He played Yone in his very first NACL matchup versus Disguised back on January 20th, when we teamed up with him.
And that was the last time we saw it from him.
So basically, he plays it in his first game of the year.
And his last game of the season.
And then he plays it in the last series of the season. What an absolute madman. Hey, nice. You guys remember my Yone? Oh, you don't? Well, let me show you how it works.
Only in important moments do you call upon his Yone.
Oh my gosh. That is the funniest thing. This guy just plays Azir and Orianna and Corki all spring. And then he plays Corki and Trist, some Lucian, and then a couple random AD games. He played some Smolder and some Zeri here and there. Had some random ASOL games in there as well. And then, boom. Yone Game 1, LCS Finals. Oh my gosh. That's a Giga Chad moment right there. To just bust out the
I just want to give a lot of props to Quad, man. I think, not that we haven't been praising him, but I think a lot of his gameplay this past split has been very sleeper in the sense of we've been giving a lot of props to Inspired, Masu has stepped up a whole bunch. I think Busio's been performing a lot better. But I think like the two like lightning rods, if you will, for better or for worse, are Inspired and Whippo on this team, right?
Yeah,
and so
sure.
a lot of the times I feel like Quad just kind of goes under the radar, and like, man, like this guy is just playing out of his freaking mind right now. I think he just like, I don't think he's getting enough recognition, which is crazy because I think people have been praising him, but I think he needs even more for the things that he's been doing in game for this team. So just massive props to Quad and how he's been playing. I thought he's had a great playoffs. I thought he had a very solid series. I do agree though that Inspired was the player of the series, but I got to give more shout outs to Quad, man. Like what a pickup, what a player. He's been playing fabulous, and I think he had a great series as well.
Well, I think the thing to me about Inspired is just he has showed his versatility over the last few years, but especially like this split, and I think really in this series, he comes in and he plays 4 different junglers, and 3 of them are like this, you know, AP power clear farming type. You know, he's game 1 Lilia, game 2 Brand, which the Brand was actually doing pretty decently until APA just got too far ahead on the Nasus. And then game 3, the Zyra was out of control. And then game 4, the Ivern, you know, a bit more of like the supportive. He's not going to be dishing out the damage, but, you know, this guy's, he's not like locked into just playing like, you know, Sejuani or Vi. You know, he can play those when he needs to, but he's able to adapt to whatever meta it is so well. And that versatility is just absolutely incredible. Yeah, I just like...
There's a reason, and I understand now truly why. I want to say it was Andrew Barton in our very first interview with him in the very first episode of the season for us. But he said that Inspired was the smartest player in LCS, if I remember correctly. And I think once again the man is showing exactly why he lives up to that kind of praise. Yeah. What an unbelievable playoffs run from him, and just season in general.
Yeah.
No, he's doing absolutely insane. And like, you know, I've had my criticism of him. I've had my ups and downs with him. Like, I'm real up on him right now after that series yesterday, man.
Yeah,
like, because you're right. That versatility is just not something you see in a lot of junglers in NA. Is like they thrive in some metas and flop in other ones. And he's just clearly shown he like has a game plan for whatever kind of League of Legends you want to play.
100%. Continuing to talk about the drafts, at least I felt like we were forcing TL to react to us more than they made us react to them. You know, after the game 1, their first moves, they ban they stick with the Smolder Renekton ban as their start, but then they go ahead and ban the Ashe from Masu, like straight away. And then they focus Busio with the Nautilus and Leona ban, so taking away the pick he had in game 1. So just like focusing down the bot lane. And, you know, forcing, you know, and then, you know, they ended up, we had banned the, you know, the Ziggs as well. So you run into, and I think they took Kalista Senna on their 2-3, I believe.
They did, yes.
And I think we had taken the Jhin because I think they went, did they go Nasus first?
Yeah, it was B1 Nasus into, we picked Corki Jhin into, they picked Kalista Senna, and then we got the Rel, and they finished it up with the Jax and the Sejuani, and then we rounded it out with Whippo's Urgot.
And honestly, that was the only draft that I was like, that I felt that we got beaten in, mainly because I really did not like the Jhin pick. That felt really weak to me.
Yeah, the Jhin, especially into a B1 Nasus, was, I don't know if there's some like interaction that I'm not understanding, or there's some gameplay plan that they understand that I don't, but like I see Jhin in an asset, I just like, that doesn't seem right, man. So
yeah, like you're gonna have to be able to shred this guy before he can just walk in and like Q auto Q you. You know, it's just gonna be a bad time. And Jhin just doesn't pump out that damage fast enough. You know, you have to be able to. So, I mean, maybe the Corki, maybe the brand, but then you're like
the brand, yeah.
But then you're solely relying on the brand to carry you the entire time, and that just seems like, and you haven't built a protect the brand, protect the Corki comp, you know, so you're splitting your damage so much. You're not, you haven't drafted enough get down Mr. President, you know, to be able to pump out damage safely and securely, right? So, but then I loved the adaptation going into Game 3. You know, TL, they end up banning the Nasus against us. But then we bust out this
Seraphine, man.
Seraphine pick.
Yeah.
That Masu looked crazy good on. Now, I have to look up, here I go again, looking up Masu.
I'm pretty sure he has not played it in LCS this year, but I know he's played it in NACL.
From what I see, per Games of Legends, this is his only Seraphine game of summer. He did not play it in spring.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's only played it in NACL. So the first time we're seeing him Seraphine is out on the grand final stage, which is very ballsy, and I very much respect it.
I don't even think he played it.
Is he not showing up on NACL?
It's not. It doesn't show up on his NACL stats either.
Okay, well maybe I'm wrong.
I think this was literally first time stage Seraphine.
Damn, what a way to show it off.
Which is absolutely crazy to me.
Part of it is, like, they've hovered it a lot. I do know that for a fact. If you look at various champion selects throughout the year,
yeah,
like, they've hovered it multiple times. So it's something that's, like, always, like, it's been in the back pocket, but you don't know as a fan. I'm sure, like, teams know and scrims and whatnot, but, like, there was always, like, hints, right? Like, oh, he might actually play the Seraphine. So seeing it actually get locked in Game 3 into what could be the final, like, real advantage point going into the next game for a best of 5. Oh, dude, right. You just love to see it, man. I don't think TL was really truly expecting. I thought it was great switch up in draft.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's what I like about this team is something I realized, especially from Nuke Duck interviewing right after they win the championship on stage with Chad, is like they keep a lot of things under lock. I've waiting for the moment to keep it out, because Nuke Duck was saying, like, he normally doesn't say a lot during interviews because that's how Jad presented it, and he's like, well, I just don't want to say too much. Other coaches might be able to figure out what we're doing, because like this Seraphine, it's the first time we saw Masu busted out on stage. Then you have the Yone, which wasn't played except for his first game of the year for Quad. Then you have, we know Bwipo can play Olaf, but we haven't seen him do it in a while. So I don't think they were really expecting that because it wasn't something we were showing in our cards recently. And then you have the Garen, which I also don't recall Bwipo playing recently at the very least.
I think that has to be more of like a recent meta read, like with Nasus coming in. You want to have it prepped.
Yeah, and I know the... God, what champion is... Oh, Cassante. Garen's the counter into Cassante.
Yes.
I was like, I know this.
But even so, these are just things we haven't shown,
Yeah,
we've kept these game plans under wrap.
And I mean, I know, everyone likes to joke that Bwipo is the Renekton merchant. He 22 games of Renekton all season. His next closest were actually Olaf and Cassante, tied at 7 each. So, those two champions combined, not even, just over half of his Renekton games. Plus a bunch of other random things. I do like, I'm looking at Games of Legends. There's like a trail of like one-off 0 wins, 1 loss games for Bwipo on some champs. Wukong, Nautilus, Poppy, Set, Zac, Gangplank, Jason, Aatrox. The graveyard of of Blippo, let me try this champions.
We'll ignore. Here's the thing: is like the Gameplay one is tragic because he's actually really good at it, and he dominated with it on like Fnatic and TL, and then just did not work out here.
I do appreciate how he won all 3 games of Skarner that he played this year. I do appreciate that. All right. Any other thoughts on drafts? You know, and then we go into game 4. I mean, this Garen into the Cassante. The Garen pick was actually incredibly crucial at several moments in this game 4. What do you guys remember from that? Was anything stand out to you from the Garen pick in particular?
I mean, I saw my personal solo queue nightmare repeated over and over again, which is, you know, you walk around the corner and then suddenly there's a Garen queuing on you, spinning, stride breaker, you can't get away, and then he's ulted you, all before you can even process that he's on your screen and start running away. Yeah. And then also on the flip side of course, if you happen to catch him first, he will just queue and run away as though he was never even there.
Yes, like he took phase rush, right? For example,
yeah.
In this game, I appreciate how is the spin to win the E or the Q? I haven't played Garen in
the E. It is E.
So on Games of Legends, you can see how many times he casted each spell or each skill.
Dang, really?
Yeah, it's crazy. So
wow, those are some detailed stats.
He took E first, right? And then he put 3 points into Q, and then he maxed out his E, right? But he wound up casting E 139 times, and then he casted his Q 93 times. This guy was just spinning nonstop the entire game.
That sounds like Garen gameplay.
Yeah.
You know, you E to shred the wave, you E to shred the enemy, you E just because you feel like it. Honestly, sometimes.
I think the big thing I really remember is the teleport topside where Quad's chasing down APA, and he just runs up, just full speed ahead, spins the winds on APAs, slams his ult down on him. FlyQuest immediately rushes Baron, and then like immediately after the Baron, like they just run into TL, and that's like the whole momentum swing of Game 4. That is where we got our advantage, because like as a reminder, we were losing the first 20 minutes of that game, right? I was full mindset of like, okay, this is probably going Game 5. That whole swing, that whole sequence with the TP from Whippo onto the APA and into the Baron, I was like, oh shit, this is actually happening. That was like what in my mind was like, okay, Whippo Garen is it, man. He is him. He's going to give us his championship. And then there were some throws later on, and we had some wins, but we don't really think about that too much. It's all good.
And all of a sudden, we were celebrating a title. You know, I don't really remember what happened after that part.
So no, I really like. I want to emphasize that if it hadn't been for the kind of mishaps, we shall say, in TL's base towards the end of the game, I really do want to like point out that I think that it was like the winning moment was this Garen TP from Whippo, who manages to, with Quad's help, just shut down APA, and the momentum swing was just massive. If I remember right, it was like a 3K gold swing from that one sequence of events. So yeah, man, it was great.
Yeah, I mean, well, I believe that turned into a Baron right there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because they rushed the Baron. TL tried fighting it, but it was a 5v4, and they just ran TL down, and then they got to go back and grab the Baron, and then they just continued pushing from that point on. Yeah, so it was just... I love it.
Yeah, I'm trying to find... Yeah, Blippo here, 2150. So at 2150, Blippo kills APA, and then, yeah, half a minute later, Quad gets a double kill on Impact and Core JJ. We get Baron, yeah, and then the game just, like, completely swings.
Yeah, the momentum just goes right into our favor up until some shenanigans of the bot, but that's fine.
You know, the funny thing I'm looking at here too is because of the way like that last little bit went is we became LCS champions with a 3K gold deficit.
It's true.
Hey man, win's a win. You don't
A
worry
win
about
is a
the-
freaking win.
You
The
don't
goals
complain
don't
about
matter
the
at
win.
the end of the game. The kills don't matter at the end of the game. Towers, minions, it don't matter, man. A win's a win. You take the wins.
You do take the win, no matter what.
League of Legends itself decided that we deserve to win that game.
It's true. It's very true.
I'm pretty sure that was like one of the first things after I was done typing like absolute gibberish in the chat. I think it was one of the first things that I typed was just "we take those."
Yeah, we absolutely do. All right, I kind of want to throw it back and just do, we at the end of the season we always do our big retrospective of the year. I kind of want to do a bit of a mini one right now, and just kind of like look at where things started. We started the season with the same roster except for obviously Jensen in the mid lane. There was a quote that came out from the press conference last night from Bwipo talking about, he was, thanking management for a lot of stuff, but, two things in particular he singled out. One was, that they wanted to bring in Mithy, so basically additional coaching is what they like, another perspective. And then also replacing Jensen. And at the time, fellas, this was a very controversial move for some people. Some people really, really hated this. Others, including folks on this show who will remain nameless, or might want their time to shine in the spotlight, were not surprised and were excited to see what Quad could do. But I don't think any of us, especially after watching us lose to Team Liquid back in spring, I don't know if any of us really foresaw what this team could do with Quad now in the mid lane. And I just want to ask you guys, did folks just miss it? How big, looking back now, is subbing in Quad mid-season? How massive is that move?
I mean, it got us a championship. Straight, I'm not gonna lie, I still think Jensen's performance on Dignitas this split was not good. I do, however, find that if he had been on FlyQuest again this split, he still probably would have had similar performances to that of what he did in spring, which, as a longtime Jensen hater, go find all the receipts. They're still in my recycling bin somewhere. He had a good split last split. He had a good split. He was performing well. But I don't think that same level of play gets us a championship this summer if he was still on the team. Yeah. Quad is what got us this championship, along with Masu and Boostio having a massive level up and Inspired continuing to perform at very, very high levels. Those are the main factors for me that really cemented this championship victory for us. So, no, I have to give so much credit to Quad and what he brought to this team. It was the correct move, and I will defend that every single time it gets brought up.
Well, and I know that, we were just talking about Quad's champion pool, he, for the whole season, I mean, this is what we watched him play. Corki, Azir, Tristana, Orianna, a few Cassio games, Talia, Lucian, Ari, Aurelion Sol, Hui, Smolder.
He got around.
Zeri, Yone, Karma, Syndra, Annie, Jace. I mean, that is a big champion pool. And I don't think that is something to be sneezed at. And, I'll be honest, you go look at Jensen's champion pool, it's about half as big. It's about half the size. The versatility that I think Quad brought to this team to be able to play more champs, I think, cannot go understated.
Yeah, so to add to that, I do think the meta was extremely favorable to Jensen in spring. It was all control mages. It was Annie, it was Azir, it was Orianna, it was Hui. These are right up Jensen's alley. This man was thriving because he had great teammates around himself, and he had champions that were meta that he was good at.
Yeah, but then he played I'm looking at the entire season of season 14. He plays 4 Tristana games when Trist is the number one Corki. Corki Trist was the matchup in the mid lane all season, right? He plays 2 Smolder games. He plays, 5 Zeri games. Like, I just don't think it's there. The pool is not there. Curly, like, what were your thoughts? It's the same question to you as, like, I was just asking Nox. Like, how massive is this substitution in of quad in for Masu midseason?
I mean,
quad in for Jensen.
When did quad play for Masu? But no, I think I was very critical of it at the start because how much I hate sudden roster changes. Anything that happens mid-season, I'm always very skeptical of. And then, like, even the same with bringing in Mithy, like, those were 2 things that I was very skeptical of. And I was like, I'm going to be paying very close attention, and I'm going to really love it if it pays off. And it paid off for sure. Because I'm going to kind of echo what Nox said, is I think Jensen looked really good in spring. I don't think he was inherently, quote unquote, the problem, so to speak. Because I think he still looked really good. It's just, this is when we get to a conversation that I think about a lot, because, it comes back to when I used to be a Fnatic fan way back when, is like, what it takes to cross that finish line. Because, Fnatic consistently has been cursed to approach the finish line and never cross it. And then Bwipo himself, my favorite player in the game, has lived a life of that until yesterday, of approaching the finish line and never crossing it. And so the replacement, the promotion of Quad to the LCS and letting Jensen go, clearly ended up being that what it took to go that last mile to cross that finish line. Because Quad really, like, he started out pretty good, and then he kept getting better and better throughout the split. And, like, I don't think we look any of the weeks we're doing this show, even when it was like a win that we were still kind of like not too high on because we dropped a game that we shouldn't have, or it wasn't clean. It's like never once did we talk bad on Quad.
Yeah, I can't recall a single moment this season where I was like, yeah, Quad was the problem this week. I literally I can't remember a single loss that we had where I thought that Quad was the issue.
Unironically, the only time I've said it was game 2 of this series. I thought he did have a rough game 2 this series. He had a questionable, like, Corky dive in at the Rift Herald and some other questionable stuff. And even then, it wasn't that bad, but it was a little rough. But that is the first time all split that I've actually been able to go, okay, what's happening, Quad? But if that's coming in grand finals when the pressure's on, like, and that's all that you're doing wrong? Like, whatever, man. You're good.
You just, like, stomped TL in game 1, so maybe you're feeling a little hyphy. Like, I get it. I get it. So...
Yeah, and that's the thing. The plays he messed up on were, like, him trying to, like, accelerate leads or, like, claw something back. It wasn't him getting caught out or anything like that. It was him, like, let me see if I can actually go for this. And I'm always down for that. That's always fine by me.
Totally. Yeah. All right. So that's the mid lane. I kind of want to go through the whole thing, but a little quicker, because it is a little late here on the East Coast. Let's talk about the bot lane real fast. Masu, Busio, just the way these young guys have stepped up, and especially Busio. I really want to point out, sure. This guy, I think if he had like one slightly better game, like maybe because game 4 was not his best. I think there's a world where he could have made the argument for MVP of the series. Inspired was certainly making plays, but like if I had to maybe say like an MVP of playoffs for FlyQuest, it might be Busio.
Yeah, he leveled up a ton, man.
Yeah, he just looked absolutely so good. And, when your support looks good, that frees you up as a bot laner, i.e. Masu. I want to say Masio. They're basically the same person, right?
Well, it's
they're in sync.
Masio.
They're in the drift, right? As they say in what was that movie, Pacific Rim?
Pacific Rim.
Yeah. So. Yeah, just absolutely incredible stuff from him. A real level up, and just really freed up Masu to play his game and just pump out the damage. Masu looked so good on that Ashe game 1 that TL felt like they had to ban it. Like, I don't think I recall seeing a ton of Ashe bans lately.
No.
I'm looking.
I really think it has something to do with, like, it's hot shot. Like, don't get me wrong, Masu plays a mean Ashe. He's very good at it, but I think part of it was Inspired was really outpathing Umti a lot. And part of that has to do with the fact that Hawkshot going into the TL's jungle at all times like makes it extremely hard for Umti to play around. And I think TL's was just like, F this, I don't want to deal with it. Just take it off the table. So I think that's kind of my thought process on it, but who knows?
Okay, there were a lot more Ashe bans in summer than I recall there being, so I apologize for my misinformation on that one.
I mean, even so, I still feel like Masu's like Ashe is just like really good because
it's disgusting.
Yeah,
I still think to how what was it like in our C9 series where he almost had like a 3 kill.
The kiting he had,
the kiting he had, or it's like granted it's an almost, but it's like hey, even having the composure to get that almost, I'm still impressed with. I do not care. I will take that.
Absolutely. All right, and let's talk about Bwipo. Now I'll pull a Chris Collinsworth. Now here's a guy who got a lot of flack from the community of late, but I think really stepped it up in a few games this series. So Bwipo I think has looked a lot better of late. I think this Garen was clutch in game 4. I do want to mention how in game 3, I believe it was where he kind of got fooled, or the whole team got fooled on the lane swap a little bit, and he wound up having to TP to meet Impact, and so he was down TP early, and Impact was getting ahead, and Bwipo still managed to pull it back to even in that lane after all. So really good stuff for him on the Renekton. I think we're going to ignore the Urgot game. And I just hope we don't play that at Worlds.
Hey, you gotta get the Urgot game out so he remembers, what, maybe we shouldn't.
It's true.
It's the one you just gotta put it in the trash, let it happen,
and then
move on.
I'm looking at Olaf. I mean, I think this guy is like the only one who... Yeah, there's like very few Olaf players. It's like him, Oscar Renin, Zeus, Adam, and Kingen are like... And Kingen only played it once, so it's like Bwipo, Oscar Renin, Zeus, and Adam.
That's 3 Europeans.
Yeah. And then Zeus,
and
which
Zeus,
is a pretty good company to be in. So yeah, the Olaf is like a great little counter pick that I don't think a lot. I'll be interested to see if he pulls it out at Worlds, because we know Renekton will get played, and I'll be interested to see if he pulls it out against the Renekton, against the Cassante. I'll be fascinated to see that. How are you guys feeling about Bwipo's play coming out of this finals and out of this playoffs heading into Worlds? How are you guys feeling on him?
I think. Oh, you go for it, Curly. Go.
Nah, I'm just saying that I'm full of bias here. He had a bit of hyphy yesterday, but they paid off in the long run. And I think the big thing is kind of with the meta right now, with the way that he plays, he just needs champions that he can comfortably get in the center of everything and just be a sponge and chaos agent, and just set his team up for success. Because get 3. His philosophy on Olaf is wait, get 3 items. All right, engage. Keep them on their toes. Never let them breathe. And then I feel like it's pretty similar with Renekton, but you can do that a bit earlier because you have the in, the out with the slice and dice. And it's just, and then even with Garen, like, you just charge in. I already told you how to play that. It's zoom in, zoom out, whatever you want. So as long as we can keep giving him champions where he can just get in the center of it all and stay alive, I think he's going to do he did real good, and I think he's going to do really good at Worlds, even if he dies a lot.
Curly, Nox, how about you? How are you feeling?
I'm gonna be real honest. Bwipo's smart, right? He's one of the smartest players in the league for sure. He understands what he needs to be doing as a top laner. He understands what his team needs from him at all times. I think he even understands what he needs to do in lane. But I think some of the execution in terms of champions that are maybe a little bit off meta, such as the Nautilus or the Urgot, even though they're favorite champions of his right now, right? He understands what he needs to do. I think his actual ease of execution has not been executing. I don't think he's actually been able to perform on a lot of those champions, even if he really feels like he can. And so I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous about if Fly lets him pull out some of these champions going into Worlds, because I think if he's not given standard like playing ability or like standard laning, I think teams will absolutely just punish him and put him behind, like what you saw with the Urgot in Game 2 or the Nautilus back versus Cloud9 in Week 7. So I'm not saying he has to continue being a Renekton merchant, because I think if you leave him as a Renekton merchant, teams are going to very quickly punish that or just ban it out and force him onto other things that he may not be comfortable on. But I'm just hesitant to see if Fly continues to let him be on champions such as like the Volibear, Urgot, Nautilus, etc. Because I just don't think, A, the meta is calling for him right now, and B, even though they're personal favorites of him, I don't think he's executing on them. And I'd rather him just put on either Olaf or Renekton or some other Cassante, you name it, that's meta right now, and he's going to be able to perform on it. I just want him to be able to provide agency to the team, whereas those picks, I don't think he's been able to provide a lot of agency to the team. So at the end of the day, he's a good player. He has a high ceiling. I'm not seeing there, like, the number of cases that you can pull from of him being off meta is not high. It's like 3 right now, but all 3 have been kind of stinker. And so that's all I have to go off of. And if that's all I have to go off of, I'm going to say, hey, stop doing that and just go meta, please. Because you can play meta well, and you can provide for the team very well when you do that. So, yeah, that's all I'll leave it at. He's still a fantastic player. I think he's great for FlyQuest. I'm really excited to see him play for him next year. Going in international, please, just stick to what's like needed for the team.
Right. Yeah. No, I think as an overall, I'm very high on this team right now. I think, I think I'll be very interested to see how Worlds goes. I'm very glad that we are not in play-ins in particular. I know people like to say, oh, they get to ramp up through play-ins. I don't know. I disagree.
We would have dodged PSG this time, though. It should be fine, right?
I'm happy to just get straight into Swiss and just get straight into it. I think there's a chance that like some really interesting stuff could happen. I don't think. I'll just say it. I think EU is trash this year.
Yep.
I think they're
bad.
I
agree, man.
I think EU is.
They're bad,
dude. I've been watching a lot of EU. They're garbage. They're not good.
Hey, look, I'm just gonna come out and say it. I think NA has a really good shot this year. I'm full confidence.
A shot to make quarterfinals. That's for sure.
To play
I'm saying
playoffs.
Yeah. To make
all of my hype is to say that we are going to actually genuinely look really good, not just be the sleeper.
I'm looking at FlyQuest and I'm looking at Team Liquid and I'm saying to myself, we're making it out of the hood with this one, I think. So, but we'll see how it goes.
Bro.
So
man.
Do we want to highlight Worlds at all really quick, or?
We can talk about it real quick, but we'll do the bigger Worlds show as we get closer to that.
I think
give me Fnatic round 1. That's all I want. Yeah. That's it.
I think the main thing I wanted to point out was we finished first seed, which allows us to dodge Hanwha Life and Billy.
Oh gosh,
for the first round. So don't get me wrong, playing any of the other LCK, LPL teams is still rough, but we get to dodge like the two hardest teams right off the bat, and I think that is pretty important. We also dodge G2, which I mean not as scary as Hanwha and Billy, but like that's also kind of nice. That it really allows us to possibly get a Fnatic first round matchup, which would be very massive. So all to say, like finishing first seed, it's not as important as it was in years past, in my opinion, where you get to dodge like a group of these teams. But I think it's still pretty important. I'm very glad we got first seed going into Swiss.
I don't know if you knew this. It'll be interesting because 2 of the Korean teams are still not qualified. They have to do regional finals. The play-in stage bracket has already been drawn. So it's, I don't know if you guys caught this. 100 Thieves goes up against Rainbow 7.
Yep.
They would, if they win that, they would play the winner of GAM Esports and Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks Gaming from Japan.
Which is Evi's team, Evi's team, by the way.
That's very cool. On the other side of the bracket, Mad Lions Koi plays Vikings Esports, which is the number 2 Vietnam team. And PSG plays Pain Gaming. Obviously, then losers bracket is losers bracket. You know, everyone gets a second shot. So, you know, 100 Thieves could drop out. Just off of looking at this bracket, who do you guys feel like might make it through?
Oh man, that's hard to say.
This will be the last question of the night, and then we call it a night here.
I have faith in 100 Thieves' ability to make it to group stage. I think they're gonna be fine. Because let's see, who they got on R7? I know they got Summit.
I think 100 Thieves makes it. They beat Rainbow 7. I'm gonna say they lose. Like I'm gonna say GAM wins, and then GAM beats 100 Thieves.
You think GAM's gonna be 100 Thieves?
And then 100 Thieves beats whoever they have to make it through.
All right.
It's the lower bracket angle.
Yeah,
I can see it. I can see it.
Either way, I don't know if we're gonna get a NA versus EU matchup in play-ins.
I think we're gonna get PSG versus
Mad.
Or I think PSG is gonna make it.
I think we're gonna get Mad versus PSG. And then I wouldn't be surprised if PSG wins that. Side-eye.
I mean, I think in the losers bracket, I think Mad and 100 Thieves could meet if they go there.
Because if both Mad and 100 Thieves win their first matchup, if they lose their qualifier, they would drop into separate qualifier matchups.
Oh, yeah. So one of them has to lose their first matchup, and then the other one has to lose the second matchup.
That's the case. It might be like a GSL group kind of deal.
I think we'll find out as we get closer to the World.
All right.
Well, because I think if I remember in the format explainer, there is like a bracket swap that occurs in the lower one. I can't remember.
That would be nice. I do like a bracket swap.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
but anyway.
in that case, we will...
100 Thieves, GAM, PSG, Mad Lions. That's my final 4.
Loser from upper round 2 plays with winner from lower round 1 of other bracket. You are correct, Curly.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're telling me there's a chance.
So what we need is Mad Lions to lose right off the bat and 100 Thieves to lose the second one.
Yeah.
And then that'll be perfect.
I mean, reminder that last year Viking Esports beat BDS in the first round of play-ins.
Yeah.
So it's possible.
It's very possible.
It is absolutely. Oh man, I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Worlds is going to be great.
All right. It's gonna be so fun.
I did want to bring up one little quick thing, if you don't mind, Sandy.
Yes,
let's do it.
What was y'all's favorite thing of the post coverage from FlyQuest on the championship? Like whether it be on Twitter, whether it be like TikTok, Instagram, whether it be Discord, whether it be something you saw on the live stream from fans. Like what was some of your favorite stuff that you guys saw?
I think for me was just seeing how much the championship meant to everyone. How much it meant to Bwipo, how much it meant to Quad, how much it meant to Masu to win in his first year. I think that was key for me. Was these guys who, Quad literally retired because the just playing was so stressful for him. Bwipo, he has said in his interviews that you could have put any top laner in that 2018 Fnatic team and they still would have won, and that he's only gotten second since then. So this is just such a huge victory for him. Huge victory for Quad. For Masu, I think this is the first of many, many titles to come.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's not even a question. Oh, yeah. That man's going to have a trophy case lined up with stuff in the time.
Many titles to come for Masu. So, just incredibly cool, I think, especially to see Bwipo and Quad get their dub.
Yeah. I think for me, I think it was just seeing the community and how many people really were excited for this moment for FlyQuest, because obviously you saw all the staff, which the staff, I love how active they are on Twitter and all that, and how they interact with us and other community members. And so it's seeing the creators and the other people that are engaged in the LCS just celebrating with FlyQuest, that you might not even realize are friends with the organization. And then even when it comes to Discord, I know our Flight Check Discord was very excited. Flycord was very excited. I even had people pinging me in other Discords, when they won, hey, Curly, congratulations. You can breathe now, and all that stuff. So it's just seeing how many people were really excited for this moment, where FlyQuest was able to finally achieve their first title. It was just really amazing to see, because, it was just, every time I went back on Twitter, there was something new. Someone else said something. Someone else pointed out a little quirky detail, and everyone was just all excited.
Yeah.
And even today, that continued.
Yeah. Yeah, super cool.
Yeah, I think for me, what I really appreciated was just how quick the org was on just sharing the emotion of everything. Within I want to say 5 to 10 minutes after the final had ended, FlyQuest had a video out of the back of the video of the back room of Mithy and Nukeduk watching the game, and everyone else, Andrew Barton's back there, Papa Smithy's back there, and you can all see them kind of sinking as they're watching them throw the game little by little, and then they look down and they see the Winions, and they all immediately start jumping, and everyone's getting hype and energetic, ready to rush out on stage, so on and so forth. I also really want. I have got to shout out Numi, because I was in FlyQuest Discord celebrating with a bunch of other fans. Numi came in, she's bawling her eyes out, and you can hear all the FlyQuest staff yelling in the background, cheering. They're just having a blast, and just they come in and they just wanted to thank everyone for being fans and how much they appreciate us and so on and so forth. I thought a lot of the content and the graphics that had been posted have been absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. Clearly the team was prepped. They were 100% invested in getting this championship. There was no half-assery. It was all in. This is all work that would have just gone to the wayside if TL had won it. And so, I have to really give props to the production team for Fly on how all this stuff was prepped and ready to go in the event that they won, and they finally got to use it, man. I can't even imagine how hard or how badly it hurts to have all this stuff prepped and ready. You want to share it, you want to show the world, and then your team doesn't even win the whole thing, and it never even sees the light of day. So
right.
Just all this quality graphics and videos and all the content and the sharing of everything, I thought Fly was incredibly on top of it. So it very much was nice to see as a fan. Because it's a little bit parasocial, but you live vicariously through it, right? And so being able to live vicariously through it, and the videos and the posts on Twitter and Discord, it makes the win all the sweeter as a fan. So
that's what esports is all about. It's that coming together and being able to celebrate everyone's achievements.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Shout out to the org. You guys got your first freaking win ever, and you handled all the sharing, and I can't even speak, man. I'm getting kind of anyway. It was just great. It was just great.
They handled business. They handled business. All right. Well, we're gonna call it there. I believe. I think that's a great place to end it. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into this episode and this season of Flight Check. Season is not over.
We're not done yet, though.
for the first time in years, actually. Well, hang on. When's the last time we
never got to talk about FlyQuest?
We never got to
ever.
talk about FlyQuest at Worlds.
This is our very first time covering FlyQuest at Worlds.
So for the first time in this show's history, we will be covering FlyQuest at Worlds, which is an incredible honor, and we're so excited to take care of it. So, with all that being said, you're going to have to follow us on Twitter for all of our instant reactions and thoughts. You can catch the show at Flight Check Crew, myself at SantosDB, Nox at NoxWar with 2 R's, and Curly at _QQ_. Hey, make sure to hop into the Flight Check Discord as well. All kinds of Worlds discussion and otherwise taking place there. And if you missed any part of this episode, the VOD will be up on YouTube tonight or tomorrow morning. If you're watching that and would like to catch the show live, we broadcast the episode usually every Monday night. Not tomorrow night, because this was tonight's episode. This was this week's episode. Usually at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here at twitch.tv/FlightCheckCrew. Nox, any final notes, shoutouts, or plugs before we wrap up this championship parade?
I am going to put you guys under a little bit of pressure really quick, because we were talking about this a few months back. Sandy, you were the one who initially brought it up, but how would y'all feel about using our Twitch earnings to give out a Worlds jersey sometime over the course of this Worlds tournament?
Oh, I'm down.
Let's do it.
Okay, so
let's do it.
Even more reason for all of you who are listening right now to please go follow our social media on Twitter and Discord. We will be using our Twitch earnings from this show that you guys help support us with, and we will be giving out a Worlds jersey sometime later on during the tournament. So please keep an eye out for that. So yeah, in addition to that, shout out to Ricebox, by the way, who is our first ever 3-time Pick'ems winner. We'll be winning an Atmos jersey, which Curly and I are currently wearing right now. So I'll be getting all of that sent out. And I believe I also have permission from Numi that the Pick'ems I'm running for Worlds will also have the reward of a Worlds jersey. So not only am I giving out 1 Worlds jersey, I will be giving out 2 Worlds jerseys with permission from FlyQuest. On the second one, that is. So please come play Pick'ems in the FlyQuest Discord. I will be posting about it on Twitter. It'll be part of FlyQuest's goals for winning Worlds. It'll be great. So yeah, so Pick'ems and Worlds jerseys, baby. Keep an eye out for when it's announced from Carly. Carly, I know, has been killing it in terms of merch this year, and I'm sure she's going to absolutely kill it on the Worlds jersey as well.
Sweet. Love it.
Bro, I can think of few things better as a fan than being able to just get Carly Bot merch for free.
I know.
That's awesome.
That sounds great to me. I wish I could get some of that. Curly, how about you? Final notes, shoutouts.
Oh man. My big shout out just has to be to the org, and like particularly again like the staff, because I already praised them earlier with how well they celebrated afterwards, but like genuinely, ever since we started this podcast, even though we are the tiniest corner on the internet, the staff have always welcomed us and like known who we are and communicated with us and been very, very kind to us, because they know how much we care about the org and they care just as much. And so it's just really nice that they've been along on this journey and brought us with them. And so thank you guys. It means a lot. And I'm just very happy to be here at this moment with FlyQuest.
Perfect. All right. My shout out is going to go to all the fans who have been along this journey for so long. I remember joining the FlyQuest Discord 4 years ago, back in the spring. It was like right before spring finals, I believe. I was jumping on the hype train, and there's just so many people who I still see around the FlyQuest Discord, who joined our Discord as well, who have supported the show. So this shout out is going to the original, the big time fans who have stuck around for so long and are now finally rewarded with an LCS championship. This one is for you guys. You guys deserve all of it.
If you want to know, Sandy, you joined June 13th, 2020.
There you go. There you go. June 13th, 2020.
Shout out to Mod Knox.
Yeah. So, and Papa Smithy, just because he's in chat, and I will do a little voice for him. He would like to give a shout out to NZXT, Olipop, and Andaseat, the 3 big sponsors of FlyQuest. Obviously, being a very big support and help for the team to be able to achieve what they've done right in the here and now. And I would also like to say, I won't repeat everything, but I would like to echo Curly and Sandy. The fans have been awesome. The org has been awesome. This has been a long time coming. I'm just elated.
It is. It's absolutely incredible. All right. Well, on that note, we will be back next week to discuss whatever is going on with FlyQuest at that point, which I'm not exactly sure. We'll have to figure it out.
So, quick tiny little leak. FlyQuest does leave for Europe this Friday.
All right.
Oh, wow. They're getting right out there. Let's go.
The boot camp begins. Well, we'll be back next week to discuss our thoughts on Worlds, FlyQuest, whatever. But for now, I'm just going to have to say stay safe out there. Bite your teeth, and do not forget to hit the head on the nail. And we'll see you all very, very soon. Adios, everybody.
Have a good one, guys.
Peace, y'all.
What a way to end it.